to St. Charles. We are broadcasting live. Currently we're at the Saginaw Valley Rail Trail, so you'll see us doing some running and jogging on this trail. Continue to follow us through the community of St. Charles. We'll be having lunch at the Rustic Inn. We'll also be going to the St. Charles Museum and many other hot spots throughout the St. Charles community. And later, we'll be at the Shiawassee National Refuge area. Stay tuned and follow the journey with us.
Downtown St. Charles right now. I'm with Lori Amo, and Lori is with the Great Lakes Bay Tourism and Conventions Bureau. And Lori, can you tell us a little bit about St. Charles?
This is a nice little small town located in Saginaw County. We have one traffic light, and we do have a McDonald's, but we have some awesome places to eat here in St. Charles. We just dined over at the Rustic Inn, which is wonderful. Next to that, we have the Bad River Bar and Grill. That's attractive to a lot of motorcyclists that come in. Okay. You can come down here on weekends. You have motorcycles up and down the road because It's one of the stops that motorcyclists do from time to time. We're next door to Tony's, which is one of the famous restaurants that are located throughout Saginaw County for awesome food. Oh. And then we also have the alley, which is a bowling alley, but they also have a great restaurant there. So there's different places to dine in town. We have this wonderful downtown area here. We have our own little Secretary of State, the best place to go into because you're in and out. We have our own post office, furniture store, grocery store, and a lot of history. There was a lot of coal mining that went on back way in the back, and lumbering. We have rivers throughout if the water is really high. For those that travel with Johnny Panther Quest, you might be able to get into St. Charles that way. But this is the start of the Saginaw Valley Rail Trail. So if you're on the trail and you're coming into town, you have many places to stop and dine, or maybe catch an ice cream at the freezer. They have wonderful things. We do have a couple of parks in town. We have the Coal Miners Park, which is a great play area, and they would have some festivals there. Last year they started a farmer's market, and now that we're going to be getting into the season, the farmer's market will be starting soon. So not only you're going to find all the produce and everything, you might find crafters as well. During the summer, they have a beautiful gazebo there, and they have outdoor concerts for people to come and enjoy. So it's a great little town.
It really is. I love these little towns like this too. And just so you know, we're just south of the state game area here too. We get a lot of hunters that come into town, and we'll come through here heading for that area.
Yeah, because we have the rivers right nearby, you'll have a lot of duck hunters. We have the Shiawassee State Game Area, so they're across the way over near the rail trail is a nice birding area, so they get a lot of birds in there. So if anybody's into birding, come on into town.
Hey, it's a great place to come out to. You're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. That's what you feel like anyway. And it's a great feeling because you've got this little town and you feel comfortable, feel safe. Feel like you just want to be here.
Exactly, and we're located right on M52, so those that are wanting to take a nice color tour even in the fall, you can drive straight up M52, just head north, and you're going to go through all of these beautiful areas along the way, and we have lots of color in the fall. So if you're coming in from Chesaning, just get onto M52 and drive north, and you're going to find St. Charles. It's a great stopping off place.
All right, what do you say we take a walk and look around a little bit more?
Okay.
Downtown St. Charles now. Right now we're going to stop at the Rustic Steakhouse and Saloon, and we're out here doing some shooting, and Bill came out, and Bill, you're the owner here.
Yes, I am.
Okay, how long have you been here?
Be going on 18 years now.
Wow, you've been here for a while then. A unique place that you have here.
Thank you.
It, you know, you got the logs, number one, so it kind of gives it a rustic look, just like the name. But you go inside, now we're seeing a lot of different mounts, and it's like you're up in the North Woods.
Yes, that was the theme we were looking for. So.
Well, you sure did get it. Now, where'd all these mounts come from?
Well, I shot many of them. Some of them were friends, and some were purchased. So.
Okay.
And some were donated by people that wives didn't want them in the house anymore.
Okay, and there's just a big variety in there. I see you got a lot of elk. Are you an elk hunter?
Yep, they're all, everything we probably have 120 mounts that are all North American big game, that's it.
Okay. The grizzly, you get the grizzly too?
I shot the front one in 2004.
That's a big bear.
Yep.
What'd he weigh?
They figured between 1,100 and 1,300 pounds.
Yep. That's a big animal.
Yep.
That's a big animal. Well, tell us a little bit about the menu that you've got here.
Well, we're a steakhouse, but we're open 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. 7 days a week. We serve everything from breakfast to steaks, prime rib. You know, walleye. Walleye is our number one seller. Our pan-fried walleye. Friday nights we do perch, cod. You know, fish specials like that. So we pretty much serve everything that.
Okay, so you can come in here at any time that it's open. You can get good sandwiches for lunch if you want that. Or you can come in here in the evening and get a really good dinner. So.
Yep, all homemade soups. We make our soup here every day. So different specials every day. So everything's homemade. So.
I know we get people from all over that come in here, and I know we're near a state game area, which brings in a lot of hunters. Do you talk a lot of hunting here with mounts?
Yes, we do. Hunting's a big in the fall. Our customer base is a lot of hunters. We've got the state game area with the waterfall draw, and we've got duck hunters come in, deer hunters. It's pretty good. It helps us out a lot in the fall.
Okay, so it's a good spot to come into. If you're a hunter and you're over in this area, don't forget to stop here.
Anything you want to add, Bill?
No.
Sure.
I don't even like having a picture of me taken. So.
Okay.
Looks like it's a gas log.
Yeah, it does. We came into downtown St. Charles now, and we are at the Rustic
Inn.
The Rustic Inn. It's a steakhouse and a saloon.
It's everything.
I'll tell you what it really is, and if you've seen the inside of this place, you'd understand why. And we want to find out a little bit about the food, though, if we could, and maybe something about the place itself and where all these mounts and everything came from.
Well, I want to welcome everybody to the Rustic Inn. We are open 7 days a week. We open at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we're open until 11 o'clock in the evening every day. Stays the same. My boss obviously is a big hunter. He goes on trips every year, and we get new additions all the time. Some of these have been donated. A lot of them are his. Some of them he's bought at auctions, so they come from here, there, and everywhere. Some of our house specialties are our steaks, of course. We have our rustic steak, which is porterhouse steak. We do a good job on those. On Friday nights, we have our perch dinner, and we have other fish usually available on that night too, but there's always our perch. We have real nice salads. Now we've got some new additions on the menu. We just come out with a new menu. So we do serve in 3 different rooms here. This is the dining room, and then we also have the lounge area over there, and then we have a patio, and you can go outside. So we have all different areas. We have banquet rooms that are available. So, we cater to everything, really.
I have a question.
Sure.
I noticed in the lounge that there's a lot of money tacked to the
Oh,
ceiling.
yeah. That was started the first year that we opened. A guy wanted to do it, and Bill let him. A lot of them put their name on it and the date that they were here, and they put a thumbtack through it with a quarter on top, and then you twist the dollar and they throw it up there. And the challenge is just to get it to stay up there. Some of them get it the first time, some of them never get it to stay. So, and you'll see other places where they stick them, the ones that can't get it to stay up there.
And I also saw that you have a banquet room, so
Yep.
people can rent that out
Yep,
for
we have
parties?
the garage, what we call the garage, the new addition out there we use for parties, and also we have just a regular banquet room. So we do parties anywhere from 15, we've done up to 80 in them. So pretty nice size. We have all different kinds of menus for those. We have buffets, or they can order off the menu. We have assorted menus choices for that kind of thing too.
Do you get a lot of bikers or hikers from the rail trail coming in because you're so
Absolutely.
close?
Yep, they come in all the time, yeah. Big groups of bikers, it's a good place to stop, and get something to eat, and then the people on the bicycles also, they come in and, they're cute, some of them. We had a whole group come in the one day, and they were a bunch of older people, and they all had on these bright yellow shirts, and wouldn't it say, spokes for old folks? Their shirts did, they were cute.
So if they want to find the Rustic, it's going to be on M52 right near the one and only light in town.
Right, pretty easy.
I know, I like it already. I mean, this is one of these places, you can't be bored in here. I mean, just looking around. And
It's kind of interesting too, this side was originally a bowling alley, it had 4 lanes, and we had this before Saginaw even had one, so there's a lot of history in this.
I think my favorite is the raccoon up on the lake.
that is cool, yeah. And you really have to go around and look around
Yeah.
in order to see all this
It
stuff.
does change, yeah.
And you put bows around all the deer heads at Christmas.
They get little things hanging off of them, and yeah, they get decorated, a lot of them do. Yeah, bulbs hanging off of them. They're cute.
Well, you ready to think about something to eat?
Oh,
I'm starved.
they have an excellent menu.
You guys want to look at the menu?
Yes, please.
All right, our special of the day today is our wet burrito. We have that every Wednesday. You can get that in chicken or beef for $6.99. Comes with chips and salsa. I'll grab a few more menus. Soups of the day are homemade chicken noodle and chili. Our soups are always homemade. Be right back with more menus for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we've been sitting here for a while, and everybody's getting kind of anxious to get going and see some more of St. Charles here, but I'll tell you what, the food is so good here. I'm not leaving until I finish. How do you guys feel about that?
Good.
You bet. You bet.
Robbing from her.
Good. Please do. Excellent fries. Really good. This sandwich is awesome.
Mine is
Steak and
too.
onion.
You know, Bill, we were talking to you outside, and we've come inside now, and we're looking at some of these mounts that are here. You can see behind us, we got a big brown bear behind us, and now this is one that you shot, right?
Yes, this one was shot in 2004 in Alaska, Bristol Bay area.
Okay, what is it like to go out after something this big?
It's exciting.
I'll bet.
You're actually, sneaking up on a predator, so it's something, even though you do have the rifle, but it's an exciting hunt.
You ever had a situation come up where they've wanted to come after you?
Well, we've been on moose hunts in Alaska where they've been in the camp, around the camp, and you can hear them outside the tent at night, but we've never actually had one try to.
I guess you just have to be cautious in those situations. You're just like you're saying, you don't sleep in the cook fire, so.
Right. Common sense is the main thing, and have your gun with you and loaded in the tent.
Oh, that's probably a good idea. I noticed too, Bill, you've got a variety of types of mounts in here. I see a lot of elk mounts. In caribou?
Caribou, yeah.
Okay. I thought that.
Mainly everything in here is North American, so it's, as you can see over in the corner, we have an otter, right up to, Alaskan brown bear, Dall sheep, Alaskan moose, Shiawassee moose.
I like what you've done with some of the mounts too, where I see over here we've got a mountain lion attacking an elk, or is that just a deer? That's a deer.
That's a mule deer.
Okay.
Yep.
And so you got these really cool mounts that
Right. It's
not
nice
just
to have a little different than a standard mount. You have a little scenery, like, set up here where we have a porcupine in here, we've got a woodchuck, we've got the bears, and something than just a head on the wall. So,
You were talking too that you're thinking about putting more mounts in here.
only right now at the taxidermist, I have like 9 deer, 2 elk, a moose. So I need to make room for.
Obviously a pretty good hunter. You seem to be lucky. Yeah, that's what I say about my fishing.
What do you have to do to maintain that?
Most of the mounts, we don't maintain them as much as we want, but we have a lotion from the taxidermist that will wipe the fur out. We'll vacuum down, wipe the hair off also, and then also wipe the antlers to get the dust off. So. So, should be done more often than it is, but it's about once a year.
You have to recolor them, or?
Nope. One thing in here, there's no sun, so they don't fade. So,
I'm sorry. He looks like he's faded. Is that the new color?
well, that deer, or that bear right there was shot in 1961 by Herman Kohanek, who was a farmer out in the prairie area, and that was he was probably had a lighter belly on him and stuff, and as you can see, these are the same two, they're both Alaskan brown bears, just the coloration is different just depends where they're at, and so.
Can you say what was the grizzly?
Pardon me?
What was the grizzly?
No, they're both Alaskan brown bears, which is the same as a grizzly, except Alaskan brown bears are coastal, grizzlies are inland. So.
Tell us why. This is
From 150 miles inland to the shoreline, they're designated as Alaskan brown bears because basically they're bigger than the grizzlies because they're catching salmon runs they come out of hibernation April. So you have salmon runs through May all the way into September, October when they go into hibernation, where the grizzlies are up higher elevations. They're after marmots and berries and moss and grubs, whatever they can, find. So these put on a lot more fat. So.
I think one thing you want to keep in mind when you do come out here and have a great meal, plan on spending a little bit of time and just wandering around in here and look at what's going on. One other question I've got for you. I see in the other room, in your bar here, that there's all this money stuck to the ceiling. What is that about?
That just started out probably 17 years ago. A customer came in, he's seen it done somewhere, and you just take a dollar bill, you put a thumbtack through it, put a quarter on it, fold it up, and then you throw it, and the quarter, away from the quarter, pushes thumbtack in the ceiling.
So most people manage to get it to stick?
Oh yeah, some get it first time, some takes 20. So.
So they sit here, have a drink, and throw money at the ceiling.
Right.
It's a good one
to do.
Yeah,
I like it.
I bet you do.
Good. Very good.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Well, thanks again, Bill.
I think there's different branches of the Bad. Like, look at there, isn't that pretty?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Rocks and everything coming down.
Beautiful, yep.
And then across the river, even farther on down, you can see it's like a little gazebo type of deal. And that's where it's like a bird sanctuary there. I think you can go in and a lot of the birds come in. And then on the road there's always a spot at the end of this road for guys that are deer hunting, how they have to get their deer checked. So during deer hunting season, that's there. So, I mean, it's a beautiful day on the trail.
It really is.
It's awesome when I run too, because it's always full of people, and there's people bike riding and walking, rollerblading.
Used outside. It's like, isn't this nice? And it's like right now the river is up, so it'd be great for kayaking too.
Oh, yeah, I'll bet it would be.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many people that it's so relaxing. And
you mentioned with the high water here, Johnny Panther Quest is actually getting up this far.
He is getting up this far. So it'd be interesting to call and book a trip with him right now with the spring waters. You know, all the snow is melted and everything. Hi. And if the waters are high, he's able to get in this far.
Wow.
And he knows all the rivers like the back of his hand, and he knows the history because he grew up here in Saginaw County, so he has lots of stories to tell. But to be able to get in by boat this far would be awesome. Because then I'm sure he could probably tie up, and then you can go eat someplace or bring your picnic basket on the boat. But Yeah, what a great way to see nature, because you can even see there's ducks and geese and everything out on the river.
Yeah.
Lots of wildlife you could see. Even this morning I took my walk and we saw a deer running across the road.
Oh, God.
So, you know, the water, it's starting to dry out in the trees and everything, so now the wildlife can now walk around a bit.
Okay.
Now.
Okay. Now, you mentioned this is a trailhead
This is
of
the
the
trailhead.
rail to trail program.
Yes.
How far does it actually go?
The original plot was for it to go 10 miles, and it goes up. But now rail trails are so big in the state, the governor wanted to get them all tied in. So I know Chesaning is going to have an area, and it's going to tie in here. This is going to go up farther into Saginaw. It'll be able to get tied into the other rail trails in Saginaw County, head up to Bay County, goes up into Midland. So those that really want to take a long bike ride or whatever, they're going to have the opportunity to do it. It's a great way to see Michigan, and we'd love people to come up to the Great Lakes Bay region and see our trails.
Now, we're paved along here. Is the entire trail paved?
Yes, it's like this as far as I know till it goes up. I think when it first started it might have been a little gravelly, but it's all been paved. You cannot take any motorized vehicles on it whatsoever. Even in the winter you can't use your snowmobiles on it, but cross-country skis are welcome.
Okay.
And you can take your bikes, you can take your skates, you can go jogging, anything non-motorized.
Okay.
So we don't want anything to get damaged. If you're going to go off of the trail, there is a side trail farther when you go up here that it's a horse trail. So those that have horses can go alongside the trail. But watch out for poison ivy.
Okay. Yeah.
You may even see a little snake or two, and you know, when I'm out riding with the neighbors, you might hear some screaming going on and legs flying up off the bike pedals, but they won't hurt you.
No, that's pretty common, especially this time of the year. You get here in the spring, and these snakes are coming out. Now come out onto the trails and sun themselves.
Oh yeah,
a lot of times. So
they like the warm areas.
Yeah.
And the trail is just open during daylight hours.
Okay.
Okay, because there's so many trees that line it. Once it starts getting dark, you don't want to be on the trail. It's just too dark. You know, you got to have flashlights and everything. And at least by having it paved, you can find your way. There are markers along the way, so it'll tell you how many miles that you've gone. So just be attentive to when you start to see where you start at and where you're going to end up. But each of the streets, they'll have like a little map. They'll show you where you're at, and it'll show how far it goes, where it starts, and as it goes up, so you can kind of keep track of where you're going. About midway through, once you get up to Swan Creek, you'll have the large area for parking if you wanted to start there and head south, or you can go north, and they have restrooms there too.
Okay, very good.
And so that's right along Swan Creek, so that's a nice area
ends
too.
right here by the House of the Living Dead in St. Charles. That's why you need a flashlight, right?
Maybe you should explain that, Herb.
Yeah, that House of the Living Dead is one of the state of Michigan's best haunted houses, and that will be open during the month of October, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. They do have a website to check. It is scary, not recommended for little kids, but there are some little kids out there with a lot of guts that like to get scared. It is very, very good. So that is something seasonal that the people want to see.
Okay. Being it's a rails to trails, which are old railroad grades that have been turned into trails, we are on an old railroad bridge.
Bring Kimberly into this. She's
Okay.
ready for this.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Wing it.
I'll start it out. You know about the rails to trails, right?
A little bit.
Okay.
Just ask her about running it. She's a runner.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Kimberly, once we got out here, we're walking down the trail, and here come running up. Is it a good spot to be running then?
Oh, definitely. Like she said, it's paved and stay on the trail, and it's nice because you do see other people running, and just put my headphones in and go.
Kind of watch for traffic as far as there's a lot of people out here.
Yeah.
This is evidently they really enjoy this.
And you'll see at the beginning of the railhead, they'll have a sign with trail etiquette. And I do want to add that sometimes the trail is used for running races. There is one at the end of April that's going to start at Swan Creek High School, and the half marathoners will be on this trail. So they will, if you're coming home from church on a Sunday morning, you'll see roads are blocked off, the police are out, you wonder what's going on. It's a running race.
Kimberly, you do those races? Have you been on this one?
Yes, I'm excited to do it. Get involved.
It looks like it'd be a nice trail to run. I'm afraid I'd get kind of lost going through the woods, and I'd just be. I don't think I'd do very good.
You get sidetracked.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Well, it takes your mind off running too because there's so much to look at.
exactly.
You run through, and like she said, the birds that are down there, and yeah.
Just running along, you want to make sure you don't have a collision with a deer running across the trail. But
But you do see plenty of friendly faces. Everybody is very friendly. You'll stop and say hi and wave and everything. So that's the neat thing.
that's what's nice about these towns, these small towns like
just
this.
really relaxing. It's like the rail trail is really a cool thing, and it's free.
Yeah, you can't beat that, right? What do you say? We head on down here.
Okay.
So did you get your run in?
Did. Okay. I have to get some water.
Okay.
They were talking about cargo pants because guys like them because they can put all that stuff in there. Especially dads, they have to carry all the stuff for their kids.
I need to go get, not because I'm headed to Europe in July, and it's like I need to get some cargo shorts so I got places to tuck stuff.
Yeah, I can't wear crap on my boot.
So you want me to take the camera along to Germany with me and get some Gunzenhausen shots?
This is really a nice river. I had not heard, I have heard of the Bad River, but I didn't really know where it was at.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it was this big.
Well, when the water is up, it's very, very wide. It is a great spot for fishing because you can go along a lot of the waterways in Saginaw County, and sometimes you'll find cars pulled off and you have guys have their poles over the bridge or something to do some fishing.
Yeah, it looks like probably get some bass out of here and some panfish. Looks like a really nice spot.
Yep, I suggest even coming out with a pair of binoculars. I know farther on down the trail there are binoculars that you can look out onto the refuge.
Okay.
So you can stop and rest. There are seats along the way that people can sit down on, but you have to take a look out of the refuge because it's so close to us. We're darn lucky.
Yeah, certainly. And with the refuge there, the state game area, you're bound to see something.
For sure. If you don't, it was a bad day. But once you got out, you got to breathe the beautiful air. It's like you can't ask for better weather. You look at all the buds coming out on the trees and everything.
Oh yeah, it's a great day. Great spring day to be out here.
It's like because you look down there. I don't know what. Hi. Trolls on Facebook. That's like it's a boat. It should be able to float. It's like they're not talking about the boat.
I actually drove through, went up 75 that day that it rained so bad. I was running up to my folks' place, and man, we came through, and it was, it was underwater.
Yeah. So you gotta get pockets and stuff in your shirt and bags so you can put stuff. This is a great day for the trail.
But we came out and we're standing right at the trailhead. There's a trailhead right here in St. Charles, and as you come to it, one of the things you'll find is a map.
Yep. So it'll show you the streets where you start. We're here at Water Street. Behind us is the Village of the Living Dead, which that takes place in the fall, of course. But it'll show you where the trailhead is at. It has the major road, which is M52, and it'll show the green where you're going to. We have the wildlife viewing platform. It shows you where that's at, the different roads that you're going to pass, and then it takes you all the way down where it ends, way down here in Saginaw. And like I said, it's about 10 miles long, but you can track how far you're going. So when you walk down the path, they'll tell you if you're starting here, once you get to the 1 mile mark, the 2 mile mark, and if you come up one of the side roads, say if you came up starting at Spencer, and it'll have a marker there, and then you can start tracking from that road. So it'll tell you all the different places that you can see. You have Marsh Creek there, you have Wolf Creek, you have the Bad River there. So it'll show you the different waterways. Clement Drive, you're getting down into James Township, Thomas Township, going along, you'll see Swan Creek. You have the fishing platform that's right off of Swan Creek, where you have the major area where there's restrooms and all of that, where the large parking area is at. So we'll show you right along the way where you can go. And this is just an awesome addition to the Saginaw County Parks and Recreation Department.
I know one thing I like about trails like this, and as I'm looking at this map, I'm now seeing it, is we had crossed a bridge right out here, which is here, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got about 5 bridges actually that you're going to cross as you go down this trail. I always like bridges because you can stop, you look over the water, it's always beautiful.
It is beautiful. We have we're very blessed to have all this water in Saginaw County. We don't have any natural lakes, but we sure have a lot of rivers.
We got a lot of rivers.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so when you do come in here, remember, take a look at the map. That'll give you an idea of where you're at and where you're going.
We're here at the St. Charles Area Museum, and we are just about to walk in and meet with Jim. So follow us.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hi.
How are you doing, Jim?
This is what we have.
All right.
Thank you.
So this will be,
Can't wait to learn about it.
I hope you find it interesting.
Wow.
This guy.
We're going through St. Charles. We've been talking about, it's a little village kind of out in the middle of nowhere. How did it even get here? And to find out, we came to the St. Charles Museum, and I'm with Jim Palmer right now. And Jim, maybe you could tell us, how did St. Charles come to be?
It was due to lumbering at the time. The Indians were here long before we were. But the lumbering came in. Charles Kimberly came into town, and he had money. So theoretically, he got the town started, which would have been across the railroad tracks, what is now called Lower Town. It's where the village began.
Okay.
And then after the floods started coming in, they moved up here. And part of that reason was because we have pictures up there of McKeegan Hardware. Kimberly built that hardware. And where the bridge is, he had the first bridge put into town. He had the money, the clout, to come through in front of his store. And the town ended up being built here.
What actually brought him in, though? I mean, he had the money to do it, but there must have been more to it than...
He was into lumbering.
Okay.
In fact, we have an artifact over there of his hardware, and he signed some of the receipts.
Okay.
That was given to us a number of years ago, and it's really, one go-to.
Okay.
But that's what, in the town, they call it Charlestown. And Charles Kimberly was one of these real dapper guys,
Okay.
a dude, I guess you might call him.
Yeah.
And they decided to call it St. Charles and name it after him.
Okay.
So that's how the town actually got its name.
Okay, so it was kind of a lumbering town to start, but I also understand that coal mining went on here too.
Coal mining came in. They were doing some digging one time. And I'm not a historian on coal whatsoever, but they hit coal. And that's a godsend to St. Charles. Well, it was for a number of years, and then after World War II and higher grade coal being taken out of Pennsylvania, in Kentucky and stuff, we were a lower grade coal.
Okay, right.
And it just...
So it was kind of short-lived
well,
then, huh?
not only that, the mine shafts, which we have some pictures of, they got in so deep that it wasn't feasible to bring the coal back out.
Okay.
Herb, looks like you got a question.
Hey, I noticed you have a picture of Amelia Earhart over here on the wall. What's the significance of that?
Well, the way that came about, she had given a talk in Saginaw at the old auditorium, which most people probably have forgotten about by now. But this is 1935, $4 to see her. At that time, when people had no money, Depression times.
Right.
So anyhow, she left Saginaw to go to Kalamazoo, and the route was coming through St. Charles. Well, her car broke down, right in front of the Sinclair gas station. So they took it to the Ford garage, which we have pictures of, to fix it. She was here about 2 hours talking to the school kids. They let school out to talk to them, or talk to her. And they brought her a car, and she went on to Kalamazoo.
Wow.
Her car was fixed, and that was the whole story of it.
That's pretty neat.
You never know what you're going to find out when you go into a town like this. And we were talking about the lumber in there and the coal. What do you have in your museum that shows that?
Well, we have this on the coal. One lady went around and finally fine-tuned it to a better description of the coal. In fact, there's some big hunks that
I see that.
I broke them up as a kid when we had coal in the house.
So basically, we'll see some of the pictures and some of the artifacts, tools, and so forth.
Yeah. Now, the one down here, some of those are railroad spikes. The smaller ones would have been spikes inside the mine because they had a smaller scale.
Okay.
Track.
Okay. Yep.
The one was the water lines. That was for hollowing out the water lines. So it really has nothing to do with the coal mining, so to speak. But
Dude, down. Lori's good.
Are any of the coal mines accessible yet? Do they have markers about where all the
only
mines
one
were?
really accessible is out to Hartley, number
Okay.
8 mine. The rest of them are, in fact, when you came in, did you see the red barn in back of us?
Yes.
That was number 1 coal mine.
Okay. And you have them all marked here for where they're located. I saw that you had
As
a map
close as
over
we
there.
can get them.
Because I was looking, I saw that there was one on Spencer and Garfield, because I live off of Spencer down in Swan Creek Township, so
Yeah, and
they were all over.
the Garfield mine, the last mine open was at the end of Wall Road,
Okay.
back in, which is now the Federal Reserve.
Wow. I see you have a huge area here for the military. And I think this would be an awesome tie-in to the Military and Space Heroes Museum for those people that go to Frankenmuth to
Oh,
visit
good
there,
point.
to come over here and see this display
Yeah,
and
this
learn
is
about
my-
people from here.
This is my own little niche, so to speak. I can't compete with Frankenmuth. I don't intend to compete with Frankenmuth. This is our local people, World War II, World War I, Vietnam, Korea,
Wow.
Civil War. This is, like I say, my pet project.
It's beautiful. You did a great job with this.
And there's a few of them still alive. One person was third wave on the beaches at Normandy. Another one, we have his picture up. Well, he's in the cabinet there, which is the guys that got killed from this area. But a picture of him in England, and it might have been a couple of days before he went on the ship and ended up not coming home. Another guy passed his brother on the beach. He came home, his brother didn't. The history there is just utterly amazing.
It is. How far back do your uniforms go?
The oldest we have are the World War I.
Okay.
And most of these, I've got a guy that's doing all the labeling because I wasn't in the military. I don't know the uniforms, but he's labeling what era they were through. But the oldest one we have is World War I.
Wow. And you have lumbering back there,
Yep.
railroad over here.
Railroad here.
How long ago did the railroad come through St. Charles?
It was the late 60s
Wow.
that they finally, we lay in bed when I was a kid, listening to the steam engines come through. And the depot was here until the mid-60s when they tore it down, sadly.
It's like a lot of history here.
Yeah, we mentioned a lumbering era, a coal time.
Yeah.
How has the population changed? I mean, we're into agriculture out this way now.
Oh, yes.
So,
Actually, at one time, we were bigger than Chesney, population-wise. And that was back, I believe, in the 20s. But they had more industry. Everybody thought you know, our highest peak was during the coal. And once the coal died, because we had 14 saloons at one time.
Yeah. Always in the mining towns.
And a number of hotels. I think 6, 7 hotels.
Wow.
And one we have a picture of, it's in our album, was a big 3-story hotel that was in Lower Town at that time. It is a huge hotel.
I saw a map on the other side, and looking at this old map and pictures of St. Charles, and it's like, okay, you could pick out the tower that's by the haunted house building, so you can kind of get your bearings on where you're at now.
Well, up on the wall, and it's a smaller picture, we have taken out of a biplane in 1921. So you can get an idea
Of the changes?
on the size, and then below that is 1953. On one wall is south to north, and on the other wall is north to south. So you can pick up a number of different buildings that, you know, I know most of them, and a friend of mine that's 96 years old can tell you what they were in his day, and then
You need to get that on tape.
we have it. We have it. And another gentleman, oh, he'll be 97 in June. He can tell you about prejudice in the town. He was first generation Italian, so he's got a story.
Wow. Be interesting.
Yeah, things changed so much during those times.
Well, they did. You know, people were just. The Germans came in, the Poles came in, the Italians.
And everybody had their own cultures and their own churches.
But the Brits, for a better word, thought they were a little bit higher than the rest of them. So they sat and they ran the show. They ran the show.
Now, how many churches did they have back then? Because I know now they still have several churches here.
We had the Catholic Church, we had a Presbyterian church, probably 5 to 6. Would be a good.
14 bars.
The oldest church in town is right behind the hardware, the Adventist church.
Okay.
That's the oldest church in town.
Wow.
Well, I don't know about you guys. I want to look around a little bit. I haven't
Well,
had
it's
a
very
chance.
interesting to see even
These pictures, I love these pictures.
Well, nobody smiles.
Caboose, the train.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. You've got a couple of displays outside here too. One is a caboose. Is that because of the railroad that came through here?
Basically, yeah, and that's got a story behind it. I was at a meeting one night, and I was talking to a guy, and I said, you know, we're on the railroad property. The depot was here, and we thought, or I thought, but let's get a caboose. You know, wouldn't that be neat? He said, I know where one is. We'll go over there. No dice, not for sale. Not going to be made into an ice cream parlor. Not going to be made into a hot dog stand. Whatever. So, well, that's your choice. You know, if you want to sell it, fine. If you don't, I can't do anything about it. I got a phone call one day. You come up with X amount of dollars by X amount of time. You got it. And tell you what, we busted tail. A lady passed away, and the money that she gave us took us over the top. We were about that close to losing the doggone thing, and we got it.
Yeah, some things just work out.
I tried to get it for free, but I couldn't talk about it.
You follow.
You're the boss.
God, I haven't been one of these since I was a kid.
As I say, remnants of Halloween.
Don't flush the toilet. Oh my goodness, how cute is this?
When they had the old toilets during the Depression days, if they're going down the tracks.
Are those wasps?
Oh,
There's a whole bunch of them. There's one there.
Yeah, boy, I got them all.
I'm getting them in my house. I have my electric.
It's a bad year for them
We
already.
got some by the building, but like I told the girl, let's get it
Well, Jim, I want to thank you for showing us around. It's really nice. It's a little museum here in town. A great place to find out about the town when you come into it.
Oh, we appreciate it. You know, we're trying to get more publicity to get people to come into town because we've got a ton of history. It's just
Got to come in here to see it and learn it. Yep.
We have microfish that the library gave us. People can come in, they can do research on microfish.
Okay.
So we're
A lot of different ways to look at it.
a lot of different ways. And we got tons of pictures we haven't gotten through hardly any.
So it's going to keep growing.
Yeah, plus we're on Facebook with pictures. I'm not. Me and the computer aren't friends.
And when you come into town, look for the big yellow caboose.
Yeah.
That'll tell you that you're
Or we go to the optometrist.
Okay, there it is. Well, Kimberly, we are off to where from here?
We are going to head to Ringwood Forest and meet
Okay.
with Tanya from the Saginaw County Parks.
All right, sounds good. Jim, thank you once again.
Thank you.
Tanya's a neat lady.
Yes, we're very
She's
excited.
helped us.
Ringwood Park, it's a county park, and you have got some trails.
Ringwood Forest.
Forest, yeah. We're at the Ringwood Forest County Park. Some trails that are out here, and they look kind of interesting. You can see there's an historic spruce alley. I'm not exactly sure what any of these mean yet, but the Lumberjack Loop, the Bad River Scenic Overlook, that one sounds kind of interesting, and the Walnut Ridge Trail. One thing too, you notice this sign down here. This indicates that it's an easy trail. So if you are not one that likes to go up and down a lot of hills, this is the kind of trail marker you want to watch for. Let's take a look.
It's like my neighbor messaged me, says, well, I'm going out walking. It's like, well, it's a good day for it, but I guess I get to walk too.
Yeah, and it's nice getting in the woods and walking, because at least you get a little shade, especially today. It's hot.
Well, that's, I told Dave, I said, it's a good day for the rail trail, because there are so many trees.
Makes it cool.
Seen a lot of red pine out here, I know, and I don't know what all they are, but a lot of taller trees.
That one busted off.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks a little spooky.
Yeah.
One of these days, that big piece is going to fall right off of there.
Look at these rounded ones there.
Oh, yeah.
Got that one there and that one there. Because that one, it looks like the tree sliced right through it.
It did. Pushing it down, yeah, you get some kind of amazing little sculptures out here when these trees fall. And if you look right behind you there, you see that big one going up?
Yeah.
That's going to come down one day. Just hope you aren't.
That one looped over.
Yep.
We've had, and we're supposed to get a lot more wind again tomorrow.
Yeah. So you're going to be doing a regular thing. We just came out on the trail here for a few minutes just to take a look around. It's early in the year and we're getting into some mud here, and I see in front of us it looks like a lot more, and they haven't got the mulch over the top of it. So maybe we better go back, maybe find another route, or just take a break back at the picnic ground.
Yep.
Sounds good.
See if our Tanya, the park ranger, is here yet.
Okay, sounds
She can
good.
tell us about everything we get to do here.
All right, sounds good.
It's like, I kind of like to find out how many miles they have.
Yeah.
Because they do have each of the parks, like on their website, what you can do there. If they have pavilions, if they have boating, hiking, whatever. And like this is, I think maybe one of two. And it's like, this is my first time here. I've always wanted to come here. and looking at the different activities that they have. And you never can tell because you see people and it's like, where do I know them from? Do I know them from school? Do I know them from church? Do I know them from work? Chamber breakfast, whatever.
Well, everybody in Franklin knows me, so the minute one of my shows is on, boom, I get 1,000 emails.
I get them from my cousins too, or girlfriends, kids from high school, flipping through, and all of a sudden there's Lori, and it's like, what show was it? At least the Christmas one they know.
The Santa Claus one, they're not too sure whether it's me or not, so then they have to ask. But then the bus one, it's obvious. But then I say, well, did you see my third one, the drinking your way through the Great Lakes Bay?
I was the guy on the floor.
Going to the lumber barons, or the lumbering brewery there on River Road.
I was wondering where it was at.
Yeah, it's between Swan Creek
Well,
and
you can
Gratiot.
join us. Maybe you can talk them into being part of it.
Laura, you brought us out here. We're at one of Saginaw County's parks. And what is this place?
This is the most rustic park that we have in all of Saginaw County. Anybody that likes to hike, they're going to love it here.
Okay.
Tanya, I think you should tell us all about it.
Well, yep, we are at Ringwood Forest. There's 3.5 miles of hiking trails out here. And as you said, it's one of our most rustically beautiful parks in Saginaw County. There's actually some topography here. You'll get to work out your legs and hips on our hills.
Oh, you had some hills going through here then too.
We do have some hills going through here. It is really beautiful. It's a neat old historic park, kind of an interesting history on it. It was all logged off in 1862, and in 1883 it was planted, and it's one of Michigan's earliest pine plantations.
Have they logged since that time?
They haven't really logged since that time. A lot of it is the old trees that are still here. And just beautiful.
It really is. That's as Denny and I were commenting as we were looking at some of the trails on how big the trees are that are here. It's amazing how many there are.
Right. Yes. Cool thing also about Ringwood is that it was the Ring family's property, and then in 1930 it was donated to the University of Michigan. And then in '87, it became one of Saginaw County parks through a lease.
Wow. Okay. And we were in St. Charles, and one of the things we looked at down there was the river. We have the river going through here too. This is the South Branch?
Yep, this is the Bad River as well. And it flows all the way through here. It goes right on off to our rail trail.
Wow.
Okay, good place to come out here. I've noticed you got a picnic area, playscape, various other things. What other things do you have?
Basically, it's very rustic, and we do have a pavilion that people can come out and use on a first come, first served basis. Really nice playscape for the kids, some outdoor privies to use as well, and the rest is just remote, rugged, for Saginaw, hiking.
Okay. What are people going to see out on these trails? I know you have some interesting names for each one of your trails. Does it depict something that's out there?
Yes, all of our trails, because it is Ringwood Forest and it was from the lumbering era, there's like Lumberjack Loop, and of course that goes right along with the lumbering era. We have a peak that is our high point on the trails where you can overlook the Bad River, and it's a really nice sight from there. When they're out on the trails, you're going to see all sorts of different species of trees. We have spruce and witch hazel, and we have larch. It's just a very nice variety.
Okay, I noticed as we stood here by the river, we seen a lure that was stuck in a tree. Obviously, there's a little bit of fishing that goes on here too.
Oh, absolutely. And sometimes some people use the river for canoeing and kayaking. It's just over the years some trees have fallen through it, so you might have to portage a little bit.
All right, well that makes it fun. We've done that before, Denny and I, and portage. It's fun. It actually is. After it's over with.
Oh, I know. Because I was telling Kimberly about an experience my husband and I had. Now, I know the Parks Department has a lot of special programming they do at different parks throughout the year. Are there special ones down out here? I know one of the ones that always looked interesting to me was geocaching.
We do have geocaching on and off. We don't have any scheduled yet this spring, but we hope to have a geocaching class a time or two. We also have classes like Skins and Skulls, where kids can come out and learn about animals through being up close and personal to skins and skulls. It's a nice, safe way. The animals can't bite them that way. And we do have hiking programs out here as well.
Does it actually cost to get in the park, or is it free?
Nope, it's free and it's open during the daylight hours.
Okay, and these programs that you were just talking about, how do people get involved in them? What do they have to call?
They can either give us a call at the office, 790-5280, or they can go to our website, www.saginawcounty.com/parks. And as far as the programs go, a majority of the programs we have out here are free.
Okay, a lot of good things at this park, and I'm kind of anxious to get out there and take a little closer look at some of these trails.
I know.
You guys gonna go?
It's okay. You say 3 miles of trails. How many acres does the park consist of?
160 acres.
Oh, that's pretty good size.
It's a lot of walking.
It is.
We can have some fun in that.
Oh, sure. I'm glad the trails are marked.
Yeah, how muddy are they? We're here in the spring, so.
If you're hiking through the Muskrat Flats area, which crosses the Bad River, it might be a little bit muddy over there, but the rest of the trail should be good to go.
All right, well, just if you're out in the spring, wear your boots, right?
Absolutely.
Why not? Hey, at least it's not hip waders.
Good point. Could have been a couple of weeks ago.
I know, but that's why the river is so well that you can go down, do some kayaking and everything. Yeah.
All right, well, what do you say we go out and look at them?
Let's give it a shot. Thanks,
ready?
Tanya.
Thanks.
Appreciate it, Tanya.
Thanks for having me.
Sure.
And I have a question about the larch that you mentioned. Is that the deciduous pine tree? The one that drops its needles, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, European larch. It is really awesome.
And that's the only one that does drop its needles, is that correct? Okay. So,
Otherwise, these right here are white pine. Michigan state tree?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Ooh, I know a little.
Oh, you are good. You are good.
Yeah, they don't have food there yet, and they had a notice on their Facebook page maybe 2 weeks ago. They still had, I think, 40 mugs left for their mug club.
Oh, wow.
They had sold out at one time.
Well, I'll tell you what, Lori and Kimberly, we have been out today. We've seen rails to trails. We've gone to museums, restaurants, out to the parks. I have worked up a thirst. and we found this really nice place that was in between St. Charles and kind of in between there and Saginaw.
It's in Saginaw.
Okay, and this is Shields, Michigan.
Yeah.
And we're at the
Loggers Brewing Company.
Oh, darn. I had to come to another...
Brand new place. They've redone everything inside and out. Working on it for the last 2 or 3 years, I think. They have a nice beer menu. They're coming out with new beers. They don't have a food menu yet, but occasionally they have food trucks. And even in the evenings, they have some acoustic guitars and things that play. So it's a nice place to stop off and quench your thirst.
Oh, it sure looks good. I'm always amazed to go in and everybody has names that kind of go with the area that they're in. And the Shiawassee coffee coffee brown ale.
It's like I see the one with the coffee. It even, they have coffee by Heirloom Coffee Roasters in Midland, Michigan. So it's a nice tie-in if people are going up to Midland and maybe hitting the breweries up there or some of the shops, but buying some of the coffees there. But here they're using some of the coffees from that shop in Midland to make a beer. Who knew?
Who knew?
So it's like we're going to have to try that. But this is kind of a neat place.
Well, we have got a sampler platter coming in here. Well, I guess that's what we call it, sampler platter.
Flight. A flight.
A flight. Yeah. And so we're going to find out. We've got most of the beers coming that they have, and we're going to taste them and try them out and see which ones we like. And if we don't like them too bad, we'll drink them anyway.
Well, it's a sin of ways. It's like having a new place like this in town. I've been dying to try it out.
Okay.
They have a spot on Facebook, so people can go there and check to see what they're offering day by day, entertainment. And I even saw their page last week. They had all of the tables pushed to the side.
Oh,
and they
yeah.
had yoga classes going on in here. So it's like, wow.
Okay.
That's your beer one all the way down to your mixes.
So it goes around.
In a U shape, okay.
Okay. You said mix. Now, what's in a mix?
It's this is our rums mix. This is our Cascade Smash mixed with our Session IPA, and this is our breakfast brew, which is our Shiawassee coffee mixed with the oatmeal cream stout.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
It's like as Saginaw was big into lumbering, I imagine that's how they got their name.
All right.
Brewery. So it's like, well, we'll just have to try these. They're awfully pretty.
If they are, you almost don't want to. Yeah, we do. I don't feel that bad about doing it. Well, I see the first one on the line here. Wood tick.
Okay, go for it, Tom.
All right.
That was I like that one. I like the name of that one the best, actually. Wood Tick Ale. Wood Tick Stout.
I do like that one. That's a brown stout.
Yeah.
So pours almost black, and it does.
Okay.
Grab whatever you think you might want to try.
Okay. What's it?
Okay, that's number 5. Sessions Eve. Sessions IP.
Oh, the IPA.
Sessions IP. A.
But they,
And this has what? It's a little bit fruity.
It says a hazy orange IPA is true to the New England style. It is low bodied but intensely hoppy with medium bitterness. It can be described as juicy, citrusy, and piney, featuring Chinook, Centennial, and Simcoe hops.
It is all that.
It is double dry.
You can taste a lot of that in it.
Aromatics.
okay, what's
Taste
number
the hops?
2?
All right, 2. 2 is
The
You ever visited the
Rogan
hop
Bison?
farm?
yeah.
Okay,
You can
I'll
do
try
that one.
Wow,
different.
that is really hoppy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? This one's actually good. I like the
I'm gonna put
stouts
it
that
back here
I've.
so we don't get screwed up
Right.
with something.
Yeah, try that.
That's the
Okay.
Rogan Weizen.
Okay, this is a German style.
Yes, that's the with the Dunkelweizen and the Hefeweizen.
Like I know what these things are.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to try the coffee.
You want the coffee?
I want to try it.
Okay, so
Now that's good. I like that. This is a good one. That's nice and smooth.
It's number 2.
It's not real hoppy.
This is number 1.
what we don't like. I don't like that.
The Shiawassee. So number 4.
On that one, the wood tick was really good.
Oh, let me get this around so you guys can see it too.
Which one's that? 2?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Typically, when I go to Europe, that's what I drink.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to say, is that good?
Surprisingly good.
Number 1 I didn't care for.
I didn't.
Oh, I liked one.
This one's not bad.
You have the camera running? Oh,
This is
I
number
just
3.
did something.
And that has that coffee flavor to it. You can kind of pick that up on it.
This is the coffee one?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have to try that. That was Chet's.
Okay, so what's number 6?
Cascade? Is that what that is?
Cascade.
Yeah. Smash.
Yes. A pale ale is continuous.
Different.
Yeah.
You can smell the coffee.
It's strong coffee.
This one really is citrusy.
Is it?
I'll probably like that one.
No,
That's number
the
six.
citrus is number 8.
That's me coffee bag.
4.
I'm gonna finish it, guys.
It's all
Yeah,
yours.
it's way less hoppy than.
Okay, this is 8, which is the citrus IPA.
Yeah. Now IPAs generally are pretty hoppy. How's that?
This is really citrusy.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think he likes that one.
Try this one.
Yes, you're right.
That's real citrusy. You can smell it.
Oh yeah.
All right, we got 2.
That was 8, and these are the mix: the rums mix and the breakfast brew.
All right, missing a couple. We got an Irish red down there somewhere.
That's 3.
3.
Clark.
Yeah.
Chet's
Okay.
Irish.
I'm gonna check that one out.
Okay, then that must be the oatmeal cream.
Oatmeal. Yeah. Yep. That should be an interesting one. It's not bad. That's not bad. Tastes like an Irish red.
Tastes like maple flavored oatmeal.
Doesn't taste like much.
Let's see. That was that.
No, not really.
No.
I'm kind of anxious to try these mixes.
Hi.
How's it going?
You the brewmaster?
I'm the head brewer,
All right.
Tyler Michael.
All right. Good to meet you. Good to meet you. Hey, tell us a little bit about the beers that you got.
They're alcoholic.
A good start. A good start.
Light to dark.
Even the breakfast brew.
Even the breakfast brew.
Because somebody's just getting off of work.
Exactly.
It's like, whoa.
What would you like to know?
Well, how did you come up with your recipes?
I wanted to maintain and stay close to classic styles, but also venture out and do our own thing and make our own creations. So commercially, I've been brewing about 4 years professionally, and I've been home brewing over 10. So just through experience, through looking through different articles, reading, so I designed most of them.
Okay.
Did you come up with the one with the coffee in it? That is amazing.
We got coffee on hand, and it just sounded like it would go really good in a dark beer, and wanted something we could drink in the morning.
This one has coffee in it too. This is the breakfast brew, so you're going to want to try that one too.
Yes.
That's probably one of the nice things about being a brewmaster, because you can experiment a little bit and you come up with ideas.
And you can take a classic style and completely rearrange it and make it your own, or you can keep it original and then just start adding to it different adjuncts, such as cocoa nibs or coffee or habanero peppers, what have you, mango,
Wow.
strawberry.
You can just do a lot of different things. And
Ooh, I like
it's,
that.
It's basically a whole nother section of almost cooking. So I mean, really anything that is edible is at our disposal to put into beer.
Cool. I'd like to try those fruity ones.
Heck yeah. We do have plans on doing a fruit beer here coming up soon. We're actually doing a lemon cherry shandy with hand squeezed lemons and Montmorency tart cherries.
What day?
That will be probably end of next month. I'm waiting on some yeast so we can actually make it.
Have you ever thought, I know you're new, but doing the World Expo of Beer in Frankenmuth to enter your beers?
Absolutely. I don't believe we are participating this year. There's one of the owners is in charge of doing all the festivals and whatnot. I know coming up here soon we got doing Oberman's tasting at Vincent's Apple Mountain. We've done 2 or 3 of those now. We always have a great turnout and have a lot of fun with it.
Excellent. Okay. You're not one of the owners, though.
I am not one of the owners. I'm just the head brewer.
But do you know
Most
about
important.
the facility? I know they've been working on it for like 3 years or so.
Yes, we have.
Really doing a big job on it.
They brought me over here a little over a year ago in anticipation that we would be brewing in about 4 months. Well, here we are. We opened March 5th. So it took a year, even me helping. I mean, I was putting up drywall, sanding this floor you're looking at.
do everything as a brewmaster, right?
Exactly. I had many hats. And in the meantime, we were brewing small batch, doing pilot test batches and test beers, honing our recipes in for this particular project. And then obviously doing tastings on smaller festivals, basically giving our beer away because we didn't have a license to be able to sell it yet. So it was Chris and I, one of the owners. He's the other brewer.
Okay.
I'm curious of what your favorite brew is right now.
My favorite brew right now, definitely Session IPA. I'm more of a hophead myself personally. I can't get enough hops. So definitely the Session IPA, my favorite.
What's in the future? Have you got other beers planned that you're going to be coming out with? And do you come out with new ones every year, just seasonal type stuff?
Oh, absolutely. We will be doing different seasonals. For example, next week I'll be brewing up a Mexican cerveza beer. So it's going to be a true lager. And we're going to have it rotating.
Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And we will have a rotating seasonal lager going. So once that's all finished up, it'll be about ready for Oktoberfest season.
I was gonna ask.
That'll be the next season.
Yeah.
I do have...
If Cinco de Mayo is on May 5th, what do you have going for Star Wars Day on May the 4th?
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
I don't have anything planned for that day.
Darth Vader something. Yeah.
Like a dark Russian Imperial
Darth Vader.
There you go. They just jump right in whenever you want.
Breakfast next. But you need to try them all and drive. No. My neighbor.
So anyway, I'm sorry, I kind of interrupted you.
But that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Star Wars made it, Lagers Brew.
That would be fun. Definitely do something like that.
I think you liked it.
Come up with it. He likes the coffee ones.
Oh, yes.
Now, we've come in and ordered basically your sampler thing here. What did you call it again?
It's a flight.
A flight.
Flight.
A flight.
You
Because
need
you're
to get out
flying
more.
when you. I just know. Give me that thing that has all of them. But how else do you sell it?
We do sell it in growlers and howlers as well by the pint or the 12-ounce glass.
Okay, so the growlers are
Growler-
takeout.
Yes, a growler and a howler are takeout, and a growler is a half gallon at 64 ounces, a howler is 32 ounces. So
Okay, so there's a variety of ways that you come in here and taste them, or you can take it out with you if you really find something you like. So,
absolutely.
I'm enjoying them all.
This is good.
One of each. No.
And even when, and this is true, that because even if food trucks aren't here, you could bring your own food in, order
Absolutely.
in. Jimmy John's delivers a pizza, Udici's, whatever's in town. Bring your own Chinese or whatever, and
We encourage it as long as you're obviously coming in to drink some beer too.
I'm sure.
Excellent.
But I mean, everybody loves to have food while they have a couple beers, of course. So we
This is
recognize
great.
its importance.
I'm excited that you're finally open.
We are as well. Thank you guys for coming in.
Hey, it's great. Great beer. I suppose if somebody asked me what my favorite was of what I just had, I would start with the Rogan Weizen. Is that how am I saying?
Is it Rogan? Yep. Rogan Weizen.
But I also like the Irish Red and I like the cream stout, and it just keeps going here. Woodstock Stout, I like that one, or Wood Tick Stout. And okay, I better quit before I name them all.
Oh, and these last two that we tried were mixes.
Yes.
So I think they took the rum,
Rogan Weizen and the Wood Tick Stout.
with the number 5, the Sessions IPA, and mixed it to make the rums mist because this was very citrusy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the last one they did the breakfast brew, which had the coffee flavored one with something else.
The oatmeal.
Okay, so that made the breakfast.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
And you really could smell the coffee in it, which was interesting. Never have had a beer like that before.
Now, Kimberly, you're not really a beer drinker. What did you find anything here that you liked?
Yeah, so I usually go for like the citrus kind, but I really enjoyed the wood tick stout.
Okay. Oh, that is good.
That surprised me, but
Yeah.
they were all really good.
Well, that's the one thing I find out, even like at World Expo beer, even though it's a dark beer, doesn't mean that it's heavy.
That's right.
A lot of times they're lighter.
That's right.
And so you really do need to sample.
You really do.
Yeah, because sometimes you see a lighter beer and you think, oh, it's light, I like it. And then it turns out it's like, no, it might be too hoppy or something. So.
What about you? I know you're a German. You like the German?
I'm a Weizen guy, so anything wheat, that's what I go for.
Okay.
So over in Europe, that's all I typically drink is when I'm over there is the wheat beers.
Okay.
So, and now they're coming out with dark wheat beers, so
Really?
it's kind
That'd
of
be
interesting too.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? You're just going to have to come in here and try them for yourself and make your own decision. Best way to do it.
And we'll let people know they're located on River Road, just south of Gratiot, which is M46.
Okay.
And we'll be west of M47, which is Midland Road. We're in Shields. We're in a residential area. You wouldn't think about seeing this place. It looks like an old church, but it has wood and everything around it. Come on in and try it out.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, I will.
One more sip and then we gotta go see what they're doing in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, 6. Cascade, what was that? Because that one's up yet.
Everybody do a cheer.
Oh, okay. Should we do it? Do you know the German?
Cascade Smash.
Do you know the German thing?
Oh, we're gonna sing again.
No, I'm not. I'm just gonna do the, okay. Ein Prosit der Gemütlichkeit. 1, 2, 3, Sofa.
Amen. That wasn't a prayer.
We are in. I put it in the wrong bowl. Yes, I did.
Would you guys like to go see where we brew all our beer?
We would, yeah, for sure.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. No problem.
Just holler when you're ready.
Okay.
We came back now into the area where they actually brew the beer. And Tyler, maybe you could just run us through real quick and tell us what goes on. I see all these tanks around here and stuff. What happens?
Sure. It is a step-by-step process. So to start with, if you've ever seen what raw beer looks like, here it is.
That's raw beer?
This is raw beer. It starts its process as malted raw grains, most notably barley. Now, wheat and rye, as well as sorghum, can also be used to brew with. Those are brewing grains. So they start dry, way up in this hopper up here, and they're going to fall through the chute and mix with roughly 168 degree water, depending on what temperature we ultimately want our mash. Now, the barley mixes with the water in this mash tun, and it actually will sit for roughly about an hour, maybe sometimes 45 minutes, and all of the starches at that temperature of water will convert to sugar. The sugar is ultimately what we're going to ferment and turn into alcohol.
Okay.
So to start, it drops through here, mixes with water, and then we let it rest. We convert all of the starches into sugars in that bath, and then we end up transferring it into this boil kettle. Now, this is just a standard 10-barrel kettle, so it fills up to 310 gallons. We roughly do 280 gallons at a time. We don't want to fill it all the way to the top because that'll increase a boil over, and we don't want that. Nobody wants to get burned. So from here, we boil it for about 90 minutes. Each batch is about the same, 90 minutes to even 2 hours. During that process, we add our hops, and that's what gives the beer the bitterness, the citrusiness, the pininess, depending on what hops we want to use.
Okay.
And how much or little we decide to use for any individual beer.
Oh.
From that point, after it's boiled, we turn the kettle off, and we actually do something that's called whirlpool. Now, I will take a pump, and I will drain it out of this hole, and there's one on the side, and it basically comes in through the side, and it whirlpools the whole kettle, and that gets all of the hops and the remaining grain proteins to the center of the kettle, so we actually don't suck it up into a fermenter.
Okay, so you want to get that out of it.
Yep, we don't use it, we just want the liquid. So from here, we end up running it through a plate chiller, and it cools. It goes from 210 degrees all the way down to 68.
Wow.
One end to the other end, and it just is a continuous flow. And from then, we flow into one of these 3 fermenters. Now, these are all temperature controlled, so we are able to control the temperature of fermentation. This is where the beer is going to sit for up to 14 to 16 days for any ale, up to 6 weeks for any lager. Now, lagering, you ferment colder temperatures, so it takes a little bit longer.
Okay.
As you can see, like right now, we have my oatmeal cream stout is just fermenting away right now.
Okay, why is it bubbling like that?
So there's 2 byproducts of fermentation. One is alcohol, the other is carbon dioxide. It's naturally produced. So right now I'm just blowing off that extra carbon dioxide so we don't make a giant bomb.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Yes. So we have an empty one, and then we have one over here, which is actually in the later stage of fermentation. It is actually fully finished. And as you can see from this condensation around here, I have what we call cold crashing, where I take the beer from 68 degrees and I cool it all the way down to 33 degrees.
Wow.
That kills any remaining yeast and drops it all out, so that way you don't drink it. You just get the final finished beer.
Okay.
From here, it goes into this bright tank. Now this is just a carbonation tank. It's basically just a giant keg that we pump CO2 into to give the beer the fizziness.
Okay. And then it's ready to drink?
And then it's ready to drink.
There
From
you
here,
go.
it goes right into a keg.
It almost sounds simple, but I don't think it's quite that easy.
It is simple, but it is a lot of work at the same time.
All right. Well, thank you very much for our tour. We appreciate it. And you got to get out here and take a look at this place and sample some of the beers. Make some decisions for yourself. What ones you like. Continuing on our trip through St. Charles, one of the places we wanted to stop was the Shiawassee National Wildlife Refuge. We're out here now. We're going to meeting with the director here, Pam Rapp, and she's going to take us out, explain a little bit more about this place and what you can see when you come. I noticed in the wood duck thing here, you've got that thing around the bottom of it. What are you keeping out of it?
Oh, yeah, predators, raccoons predominantly.
Okay.
And so that's there to keep raccoons and other predators from getting into the nest box.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm sure they're looking for those eggs.
Yes.
We've been looking over the St. Charles area, and one of the things we haven't gotten into yet is the Shiawassee National Wildlife Refuge, and it's just north of St. Charles. I'm with Pam. She's the district ranger out here. I'm sorry.
Refuge manager.
Refuge manager. I've got district ranger in my mind.
I know, I'm sorry.
Well, we've been looking over the St. Charles area. We're finding a lot of good things about it, but one thing we haven't told you about yet is the Shiawassee National Wildlife Refuge, which is just north of St. Charles itself. Now I'm out here with Pam, who is the refuge manager, and she's going to kind of give us an overview of what's out here and what you can do. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about it.
Absolutely, happy to do that. Well, first of all, you're at the Ferguson Bayou Trail on the Shiawassee National Wildlife Refuge, and if you can hear the birds out here, this is an area that about 10,000 acres that's dedicated to wildlife. It's a globally important area for migratory birds, ducks, geese, and neotropical migrant birds, most of which you're hearing right now. And the area, we also, even though we're here for the wildlife, we do encourage people to come out and enjoy the refuge and enjoy the wildlife. We have this Ferguson Bayou Trail is open year-round for the public to come out, hike, bike, cross-country ski, snowshoe, whatever they like to do. So it's a great place. You go through a lot of different habitats and you'll see a lot of different wildlife. We also have the Woodland Trail on the north side of the Shiawassee River, and there's about 4.5 miles of trails out there as well. Again, open for hiking, biking, wildlife viewing, those kinds of things. In addition, we're really, because we are just south of Saginaw, and we abut the city, sorry about that. Since we're just south of Saginaw, we have a deep interest in connecting with our community, and we really want to provide the local youth information about being outdoors, about environmental education, about careers in wildlife. And so we have an environmental learning center called the Greenpoint Environmental Learning Center, and we really try to get youth to come to that environmental learning center. We have several trails out there that we also take kids on hikes. So we're here for the wildlife, but we're here to be part of the community and to engage the youth in the outdoors.
Okay, do you actually have classes then?
We can host classes, and the Environmental Learning Center is open, but we are trying to reach out to the schools, and we do have periodic organized activities, and we publish those on our website.
Okay, I noticed looking around us here, we're seeing a lot of water sitting around, so this is kind of what the whole thing's about.
That's what this whole thing is about. So we are in what is called the Shiawassee Flats, and this is a historically wetland complex that is much, much larger than just the refuge. Again, our refuge is about 10,000 acres, but the Shiawassee River drains about 15% of the lower Michigan area. So we have 4 rivers that come into the refuge specifically: the Cass, the Shiawassee, the Shiawassee, and the Flint, sorry about that.
Yep.
And so all of these rivers come together, and they come into this area. They historically came into this area. It was historically a large glacial lake, but then there was a breach, and now the river flows north and drains the area. So we have the Shiawassee National Wildlife Refuge, about 10,000 acres again, and then just upstream is the Shiawassee River State Game Area, another 10,000 acres. So it's a complex of an ecosystem that benefits both people and wildlife.
Okay, what are people going to see as far as the wildlife is concerned down here?
Oh my gosh, depending on the time of year, during the peak migrations, which are in the early spring or in the fall, we can have 25,000 Canada geese, we could have 40,000 ducks, so it really comes alive during those peak migrations. Right now what you have are neotropical migratory birds in the area. We still have some ducks and geese that also nest here, but the vast majority have flown north to nest up north. We have many mammals and reptiles. We have a lot of turtles, snakes, toads, frogs that are kind of fun for the kids to enjoy. I enjoy them too. But we have deer, we have raccoons, we have all sorts of mammals out here, reptiles, amphibians. We do have fish. Most of our fish are actually in the river, and it is open to fishing. We have 4 locations in the refuge that people can bank fish, but the river is open to boats, so many people come in with their boats and fish the river as
they
well.
Can actually get into the area with them.
Yes.
Okay, now you mentioned fishing in the river. Do they allow fishing in the ponds?
No, not right now. We're just in the river and just in those 4 locations along the bank.
Okay, people coming out here that are walking around, I did see some benches around, so there are places that can go so far and rest a little bit?
Yes, so our trail systems, this is a loop trail. We do have some benches, we do have occasional restrooms. It is fairly rustic though, but as you can see, it's flat, and it's designed to be a nice leisurely stroll where you can just enjoy being outdoors and the wildlife that's here.
Okay. I see also, you know, it being kind of a swamp area, you probably want to come out with a pair of boots, a good pair of boots to walk in.
Yeah.
And maybe a pack to.
Always bring some water, maybe some food. Right now we're kind of lucky, but later in the summer you might want to bring some insect repellent as well.
Oh, good point.
Yes.
I'm sure it can get rough at
It can
times.
get rough out here, yes.
Okay, another thing that I know is fairly new for the Refuge is a driving tour that is going on. So tell us a little bit about that.
So we have a wildlife drive. We call it the Wildlife Drive. It's a 6.5-mile drive, and so it goes through the interior of the refuge that right now is closed because of the nesting bald eagles. But the 6.5-mile drive, it's a one-way loop, and it really allows you to look over. You're higher. It's up on a dike, so you're a little bit higher, so you can look down into the various habitats and the large wetland complexes that we have. It also then skirts the Shiawassee River, so you'll be right above the river. You can see the river up and down and across the river. So it's a very popular drive. It opens June 1st and closes the end of September, and from sunrise to sunset. So I encourage people to come out. You'll see a lot. Come out at different times of the day, different times of the year, and you'll really see a lot of different wildlife and habitats.
You know what's really nice is you can come out to a place like this. We're right near Saginaw. We're just north of St. Charles. The cities are close if you need anything, but you can get out here and you feel like you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's kind of a little known place. I live in Saginaw, and many of my neighbors and friends that I meet out there, they haven't heard about us. So it's a gem right here, just south of Saginaw, and it's one of the few national wildlife refuges in the state. And so please come out and enjoy it. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, you get out here. You will really enjoy yourself.
Yes.
Pam, anything else you can think about that we might have missed? I know we touched on hiking, but maybe we could talk about the different trails and the size of them.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. Well, Pam, tell us a little bit more about the trail system that's out here. I know you mentioned different trails. How long are they? Are they loop trails? Something easy for everyone?
Sure. So I'll start with the Woodland Trail, which is on the north side of the Shiawassee River. And the Woodland Trail has a nice parking area and restroom right there. And that is several loops. There are several loops, and that's about 4.5 miles long. Again, it's very flat. That can get a little muddy early in the season. But that's enjoyed a lot by the local people that enjoy just hiking, you know, just getting out, getting a little exercise. Biking, it's a popular biking area because it's so close to the city, and yet it feels very, very rural. And then people enjoy running out there and also bird watching. It is primarily forested. There are a few little wetlands, but it's mostly a forested trail.
Okay.
And then we have the Ferguson Bayou Trail, which is the trail we're on today. And it is a series of loops, and those loops will take you through a variety of different habitats. This is a bottomland hardwood forest. As you can see, we had a flood about 2 weeks ago. And so these forests are designed to absorb those flood waters. The trees can survive and then slowly release those floodwaters. And these ponds are really important for species like wood ducks, beautiful duck, and a lot of amphibians. You'll see a lot of turtles and amphibians, salamanders and things in these areas. But it also, the trail, Ferguson Bayou Trail, will also take you by the large wetland complexes that we have out here. And that's where you're going to see the vast majority of our waterfowl, our ducks, our geese, egrets, birds like that. And then you will also see bald eagles, very common. So the Ferguson Bayou Trail is another about 4.5 mile loop. Again, it's very flat, so very conducive to hiking, biking, and cross-country skiing or snowshoeing in the wintertime if we get snow.
Okay. And you did mention that during the summer it can get kind of buggy.
Yes.
Which is another thing too, that if you're out here on shores, keep in mind that poison ivy is around,
yes,
especially around these watered areas, yes, like this, and
yes,
you got to be careful of that kind of stuff.
Very much so, very much so, yes.
How do they react when they see wildlife? How should they react?
Oh, please, just be quiet and enjoy observing the wildlife. Don't approach the wildlife. You know, this is first and foremost here for the wildlife, and then it's for our enjoyment of that wildlife. So don't approach the wildlife, observe them for a distance. Bring binoculars if you have binoculars. That's a great way of getting up close to the wildlife and enjoying it. If you see injured wildlife, please just don't approach it. Don't try to take that matter into your own hands. That is the natural way of the world. So don't pick up wildlife, but just observe from a distance and quietly just enjoy the experience.
Okay, very good.
So speaking of observation, can you talk a little bit about the...
That was the thing. I forgot about that.
Okay.
You want me to? Okay. I noticed too as we're going around, I mentioned there were some seats that you can sit on, but there's also towers that you can get up a little bit on.
Yes. So on the Wildlife Drive and associated with the Ferguson Bayou Trail, at the entrance to the Ferguson Bayou Trail, we have a large parking lot and an observation tower. That's a slightly elevated platform where you can look over some marshlands, and again, that's open year-round. So please come visit that anytime. Any time of the year, you're going to see different species out there. And then just down the trail here, we have the Bob Griffey Tower, and that was named after a very prominent birder that did a lot of research out here on the birds. And that observation tower overlooks a very large pond wetland complex, and there is a scope out there for people to use and to enjoy. And there's another wildlife tower halfway across the way here, about halfway around the Wildlife Drive. And again, that look is over the river, and then the marshes to the north and to the east of that river. So.
One other thing too, people get out on the trail. There are a few bathrooms that are located around the area. Where are those at?
Okay, we have one restroom on the Griffey Trail, the Ferguson Bayou Trail, and then we have a restroom at the Trailhead for the Woodland Trail.
Okay, so they are out here. I know a lot of people get out here and go, oh, what do I do now? You know, and especially the ladies, you know, they worry about that, but there are places out here, so.
Plan your visit, it's on the map.
Okay.
Yeah.
Information, real quick too. You're on the web, of course.
Yes.
And what would be the?
Just Google Shiawassee National Wildlife Refuge.
Okay.
And all this information will show up. We have brochures at the office. There's brochures 24/7 outside in our kiosk. Yeah, just Google Shiawassee National Wildlife Refuge, and hopefully all the information you'll want will be there.
Well, Pam, this is a big area, and I know we're next to a state game area too. Is there any hunting that is allowed out here in the refuge?
Yes, absolutely. So we offer goose hunting and deer hunting. And in particular, we have a non-ambulatory hunt where we assist non-ambulatory hunters with either their first experience, or maybe they've had an unfortunate event where they have become non-ambulatory. So we have a non-ambulatory hunt. We also have a youth hunt, and so those hunts you have to go through the Department of Natural Resources to get your hunt license, and then select those specific hunts. But we do offer deer hunting, goose hunting, again a youth hunt, and a non-ambulatory hunt.
Okay, but special regulations.
Correct.
Are involved.
Yep. So you'll need to specifically select Shiawassee National Wildlife Refuge.
Okay. Well, Pam, what about different events that you might have out here?
Well, we just had a Earth Day event, which was a lot of fun. We had about 35 people come and help us with the trash pickup on the refuge, which was really nice. And we have periodic events throughout the summer. Again, if you go to Shiawassee National Wildlife Refuge, you'll see that on our website. But I want to specifically highlight in September, we're going to have an open house where we're going to have specific events for kids. Again, environmental education purposes. But the refuge will be open, and we want to showcase the refuge to our local community. So please go to that website and look that up if you're interested in coming out for the first time or for the 100th time. And so we'll have a lot of activities and events going on.
Pam, you mentioned that along the river where people can put boats in, where are they launching these boats at?
Okay, well, we only have one launch site at this time, and that is on we call the Cass River launch site, and it's right off of Highway 13, right at where the Cass River goes underneath Highway 13. So that's our one and only launch site. Again, kind of primitive. There's a large parking area and a launch ramp, but there are no other facilities there. But that is where most people launch to kayak, canoe, or motorboat up through the river system and the refuge.
So there's a lot to do out here, and you're really going to be missing a lot if you don't get out here and see it for yourself. Yeah, does it actually cost to come in in
Not at all.
facilities?
Not at all. We encourage everybody to come visit the refuge, and it's free. Everything here is free.
Okay. And geez, this is another great view here too.
Beautiful view, yes. And this is a wetland complex that has a lot of activity, which is why we put the tower here, so that people can come and enjoy, get a little bit elevated so you can see into the wetland. And this area gets used a lot by raptors, by hawks. And as you can see, we have some tree swallows flying around. We're hearing 2 different species of frogs. We have some turtles nesting out, or sunning themselves out on that log. We have geese in the background, red-winged blackbirds, just a whole variety of wildlife out
And
here.
here we are sitting in one spot.
Here we are, yes, yes, on a
It's
beautiful
just
day.
amazing.
Yes, yes.
I see you got a placard down here with information on it.
Yeah, so we try to, that's where the information is for all of our visitors, and of course we have do's and don'ts, and so that's all listed right there. Mostly we just want you to come in and enjoy the refuge. Please don't bring your dogs, and stay on the trails. We're open from sunrise to sunset, and observe the wildlife, but don't harass the wildlife, and pretty simple.
Very
Yep.
good. Thank you very much. Well, I hope you enjoyed our trip to the St. Charles area here in the Great Lakes Bay region of Michigan. A beautiful place to be. As you can see, there's a lot going on at St. Charles for just a little town, and when you can end up here in the Shiawassee National Wildlife Refuge at the end of the day, that's icing on the cake. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.